once again to my channel. Now let's look at what we have here. We are given that the square root of 75 minus the square root of 27 minus the square root of 3 all raised to the power of x is equal to 9. We are asked to find the value of x. It's very simple. Now here is the solution to this problem. Now for clarity's sake, I will divide the board. Now let's look at what we have here. We have the square root of 75 minus the square root of 27 minus the square root of 3 all raised to the power of x to be equal to 9. Now this is how we are going to solve this for proper understanding. Now the square root of 25 can also be known as what? 3 times 25. Square root of 75 can also be known as 3 times 25 because 3 times 25 will give us what? 75 minus square root of 27 can also be written as 3 times 9 minus the square root of 3. Now all of this is raised to the power of x to be equal to 9. Now what do you observe? We have roots, we have 3, we have 3, we have 3. Now this is what you need to know, that if you have the square root of a times b, square root of a times b is the same thing as the square root of what? A times the square root of what? B. You get it? Now let's use this rule to evaluate this. This is the same thing as a to the square root of 3 times the square root of what? 25 minus the square root of 3 times the square root of 9 minus the square root of 3. All of this is raised to the power of x to be equal to what? 9. You get it? Now let's take this up. Now the square root of 3 will always remain as what? The square root of 3. Now times the square root of 25 is what? 5. So times 5 minus the square root of 3. Here as you can see, the square root of 3. And then the square root of 9 is what? 3. So this will be times 3. And then minus the square root of 3 to be equal to 9. Remember, all of this is raised to the power of x. Now this is how we are going to do this now. 5 times root 3 is the same thing as what? 5 root 3. Now 3 times root 3 will give us minus 3 root 3. Minus root 3 times 3 is the same thing as what? 3 minus 3 root 3. And minus root 3. All of this raised to the power of x is equal to 9. Now what do you observe? We have root 3, we have root 3, we have root 3. As you can see. Now there's another rule of surds that says, now let's see that if you have a common root means that the square root you have here is the same thing as the square root you have here, the same thing as the square root you also have here. That's what makes it common, because you have root 3, and root 3. So if you have the root 3 now, if you have a common root, you can add or subtract the surds. You can add or subtract the number ahead once you have a like root. Once you have the roots that looks alike, you can add or subtract them. Now, so 5 minus 3, this will give us all. At the same time, if we are not going to use that method, we can also factor out the root 3. So if you factor out root 3, let's say you're factoring out root 3, what will be left is what? If you factor out root 3, what will be left is what? 5 minus 3 minus 1. All of this raised to the power of x is equal to 9. Because root 3 times 5 will give us 5 root 3, and then root 3 times minus 3 will give us minus 3 root 3, and then root 3 times minus 1 will give us minus root 3. All of this is raised to the power of x to be equal to 9. Now this is the same thing as root 3 into 5 minus 3 is what? 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So there will be 1. All of this raised to the power of x is equal to. Now what do you observe? Let's check this. This is the same thing as what? 9. So 9 can be expressed in index form to be 3 raised to the power of 2. Now root 3 times 1 will give us what? Root 3. Now all of this is raised to the power of x to be equal to what? 3 squared. Now root 3 here, this implies root 3 power x is the same thing as what? 3 raised to the power of 1 over 2, or raised to the power of x to be equal to 3 squared. You get it? Now, since the base is the same, you can do away with them and work with the exponent. So 3 will cancel out 3. What you are going to be left with now will be what? 1 over 2. Because 1 over 2 times x will give us x over 2. 1 over 2 here times x will give us x over 2 to be equal to 2. So that implies if we multiply both sides by 2, we have the value of x. So x will be equal to 4. So the value of x that will satisfy this expression is equal to 4. If you find this video interesting, do not hesitate. Make sure you like, comment on this video, and share this video. I will see you in my next class. Bye.